everybody, welcome back to episode number 34 here in the Systematic Factory. We have an inbound ice meteor shower, and I wanted to see how our system handles it. It looks like it's already closed our bunker doors. Autosave is not my friend. Our bunker doors have already been closed. Our space scanners have taken care of that, and it closed all the doors the whole way across, so that's good. We should have meteors coming in any moment, because this is colliding in just a few seconds. So we have our ice hitting the top of our base. Bunker doors are doing a good job of keeping them out. 270 seconds remaining, so that's going to be going on for a few minutes, and then this will automatically reopen. I need to turn this part off. I had that automatically opened while I was doing work. We've done some work here in our rocket hangar. So this is the design I'm going with for my double rocket bay here above the... in this section where I have the 4 doors above it. There's pump fuel lines that come up. I have gantries that come out. On this side, I'll be doing them a little differently because the spacing is a little tight here, but it'll still work that we'll be able to reach everything. This rocket, when we take off, we're going to end up landing it in one of these, and then we'll remove this and finish this side of the rocket bay. It's going to be an exact copy of this one, just slight changes on the gantries. We have done everything we can with the enclosed telescope. I suspected that we wouldn't be able to do very far. We're just basically 4 tiles out from our planetoid that the telescope is on. We were able to see, so we did get to see a little bit, but not a ton, and that's okay. We're going to end up actually removing this now because we're building out past it. If we want to, we could go to Hazard Auto and set one up as well and get a little bit more data to go across the stars, because this one would be able to see out another 4 blocks, and then we could probably travel from one planetoid to another and discover most of the area that way. But it looks like we're really just going to have to use our cartographic module in our rocket to do most of our exploration, and that's okay. We are set up to do that. Cancel this. When I copied the plans over, it made some interesting things. I'm running the automation wire across, so I have a switch here temporarily. Eventually I want to have it so that all the gantries are opened and closed by one singular switch. And I'm not worried about the power, because it doesn't have to be all done instantly. I'll just open them when I need them, and we'll be all set. Last thing I think I need to do here is get power to where our battery module is going to be, so that we can have power inside the rocket while it's sitting, but I'll wait until we get it over here and I'm done having it sit so that we can line it up correctly, because it'll be slightly different. I think it's actually going to be we may shift it around, because I don't want to have to cross over our power lines here and do all that stuff. We may move it lower just so that it's easier to get the power to it. But we'll figure that out when we move it to its final place. What we are going to do is we're going to change the destination on this to go out to here. We have to wait until this is over. Okay, so our meteor shower is done. Everything has been cleared, so we're all set there. And now we can crew our rocket up. And once our pilot gets on board, though actually, as I currently have it, I took down all the ladders that will allow him to get in, so let's see if we can't fix that. Here and here should be good. We'll have to also make sure that he has clearance to get in over here. I think it should be fine over here, because there'll just be a 1-block gap between the rocket and the ladders, but this is the current problem we have. Okay, so once we get that one put in, we'll be good. Let's pull the gantry away. I think those have been fine there. so the bottom corner may have broken them. We'll get this ladder put in, and we're going to send Jerry out on his way. And while we are working on exploring the star map, we're going to be doing some work around the base to do some improvements. I want to finish doing the luxury condo setup. So that means getting all of this jumble of wires and piping and things like that moved to a more permanent location. I'm also considering redoing some of this down here, though I'm not sure if I will, because we're really close to the end of our achievement run. I may save doing more with this stuff for the next playthrough. This was mostly a novelty, making it look pretty and all that, instead of functioning efficiently. And it works just fine, but it's not cold in the slightest, like it should be. And so I may just wait until the next one to do a better version of that. Let's see, we should have our pilot now. Not quite. Where is our pilot located? Is he coming in? I think that's him there. We really give him a pilot's helmet so he can see. There we go. So let's check out the interior first. Take Jerry's suit off because he's going to be in here for 20 cycles. Well, for 20 tiles. It'll probably be more like 15 cycles of travel time. And now we are ready to launch our rocket. One thing I want to do, I'm going to do this one slow, because I want to watch the temperatures as this rocket goes. I want to see... You can see all of this is spreading out. My big concern was how much of that temperature made it into these ceramic tiles. They're staying at 45 degrees. The gases are going to escape. They're going to take a while. Uh-oh. Must have had a wire that I didn't make out of steel. Gonna have a bunch of those probably because I accidentally put in the wrong type of wires. No big deal. The temperatures are really hot in here, but they're all in that carbon dioxide, which is going to quickly dissipate. And we didn't pick up any heat in our insulated tile, so that's what I wanted. I shifted this whole thing down farther so that we had enough of a gap that the temperature wouldn't get into the tile and therefore wouldn't go into the base at all. The base is hot enough. A lot of work I need to do on the stuff down there. Okay, so we can speed this back up. We'll deal with this power being melted, and I'm going to copy this over and finish our other rocket bay design here, and then we'll get started working in the base. Our rocket's finished its first path out into the star map, and we got pretty lucky. We found our gilded asteroid field, which is where we get the fullerene, which is one of the things we need. While it was gone, I finished building up the rest of the rocket bay. So this is all set. Everything is lined up where it needs to be. I also installed this cooling system here. So this just has a simple loop of petroleum that's cooling everything down. The petroleum's still pretty hot because I just put it in and it was still hot at the time. But if we look, it's looping up around here through these conductor coils, conduction panels that are cooling off our robo-miner. So if we check the temperatures, they're still currently pretty hot because of the hot coolant that's going through, but they're going to keep cooling down, and they're going to get down to where we want them to be. What I have also started working on is changing up inside our interior here. So we took out the lab that we were using to make data. So now we can put our rocket control station down here. I'm going to deconstruct this panel, or this vent, I mean. As far as furniture goes, I want to put a bed back in. And we're just gonna do this one because I think it looks cool. The vent, we have to put the fan, or the vent there. And we need to put a pipe to connect it. I'm gonna make sure before I finish this off, I have everything swept out of there. I also need to take this automation wire out. And this one too, if I can get to it. I don't know if I can reach it. Maybe if I'm able to get up high enough to get to it. Doesn't say unreachable. I do need this to connect to here. This we can, I guess we can leave that in because there's nothing that's gonna be harmful with that. We're gonna put in a hydro or an atmos sensor here, made out of steel. I want to sweep this still. Doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get rid of this, which is fine. We'll just cancel that. It can stay there. It's not going to cause me any trouble. And once we sweep this out, I'm going to put this tile here. And what that's going to do is currently this room can't be a barracks because there is industrial machinery in there. If we block this off so that there is not a gas vent in the room, then that's the only item in here right now that counts as industrial machinery. So once we've put in this copper ore airflow tile, the gas vent will be in a separate room from this, and that means that this room will once again be a barracks. Down here, I want to put in mess table. I'll make it out of steel, because why not? There we go. We have our barracks again. And then the other thing I'm going to put in here is under furniture, I'm going to put in a party line phone. Just because I have the power to do it. Because while we're in flight, we have power from the rocket engines. Which means he'll be able to use the party line phone, and that'll help him with a little bit of socialization while we're off in flight. So that will make this window a mess hall, which we're set. We'll get morale from that. We'll get morale from him using the party phone. We'll get morale from the barracks now and from the washroom. So all those things are set. We just need to finish up the last few. Oh, I don't want it to be changing that power line because then I'll have debris down in here. We need to do a few more things as far as sweeping things out before we can go again. I also want to set this to grounded. That's why they're using the bathroom, because it's not set as grounded, which means that people can use things in here. And I'm going to suppress the warnings on that, on everything except for one, just because I don't like seeing them as much. But I'll leave it here so that I can see. I'll leave it on the food dispenser. That way we can, when we're looking, we can see easily whether it's grounded or not. So this is all set. The next thing I'm working on is I ran a pipe that goes this way and has a radiant pipe here. Oh, I need to get up in there to be able to reach that. So let's remove this for a minute. That one pipe there is unreachable because I can't get up there because of the lead tile. So we'll remove that. We'll get a ladder placed right here so they can get up, finish that, and then we'll put it back where it was. The goal is I want to set up a system here that uses the coolant line to go through and cool down the inside of the spacefarer module while it's sitting there waiting for us. So let's just run a pipe for now that goes over to the input, and then another one that comes out. Oh, we're not going to be able to reach that. I don't really want to have to put in another gantry, but that might be the only option I have. That is why I put all these ladders here, so that I could just easily remove ladders and then put down a gantry, and still have ladders to get around. So I guess since I put them in for that purpose, we might as well do it. So the issue is I want to make it so that there is some automation with this system. So I want to put in a shutoff here. And then I'm going to put in a thermo sensor. Yeah, let's put it, just for making it easier, let's put it right there. And then we're going to run some automation wire, and I'm going to need some power to go to that. And so the idea here is I'm going to connect this line up. It's going to go in, and it's going to come out, and then I'm going to use this sensor to determine how cool the output line is, and that'll help me set the temperature inside, because I don't want it to overcool, because this line is going to be very cold coolant. Because it can be. In fact, I can take this down to minus, let's go to minus 40. And obviously I don't want to cool the inside of the spacefarer module down to minus 40. But I want to cool it down quickly. So coolant going in is fine. I'll just have to determine the sensor here to set it. So now what I need to do, let me think about this a little more. In order to get it to bypass this, I need to have this here as a return. Let's put in the bridges here. So if this shutoff is... I want it to go through the shutoff if it needs to go, or if it needs to be sent in, but if it doesn't go through here, I want it to continue on. So I'm trying to think of the best way to do that. I can do it kind of similar to this setup, where if it needs to go through, it goes through there. Otherwise, it goes down to a pipe. Let's try that. You think how that line goes? That line goes there. If it needs to go through, it goes through. Otherwise, it goes to the pipe. So if I connect it like that, and then I connect this, and then I have this output coming through this way, I think that that should do it. This part here is so that when this is flowing and this isn't here, it'll go across, but that's not quite right, because this is always going to bypass it. So what I need it to do... What I need it to do is go to the rocket if the rocket's there, but if the rocket's not there, then bypass it. So this is not quite how I want it to be. What I want is to have the priority go to the rocket. So I think what I need to do to make that happen... I have to wait till they deconstruct that. I'm going to want it to do this. So that'll be priority, and then if it doesn't need it, it goes this way. That should do it. And then we'll take off this little tail. Okay, so if this goes through and this allows it, it'll pass through here, it'll come through here, it will jump across and go to here if there is space here. And if the rocket's not here, there won't be space here. So then it'll go this way and it'll come out. If it does go into the rocket, it'll come out here, which means it'll go this way. So yeah, that's all the way I want it. These are all granite. They should be fine for the rocket taking off. They won't do any damage to it. I'm going to need to put some support structures across here so that they can come and build this. And then I'm just going to have to figure out this sensor as we go. For now, I'm going to set this to 20 degrees because I want it to be 20 degrees in there, but I feel like it's going to have to be a different number to make it actually do that inside. And we'll figure that out because the coolant is not going to match that temperature right away. If we're sending super cooled coolant in there, it's not going to come all the way up to the 20 degrees. So we'll have to just figure out what we want the coolant to be coming out at to get the room at that temperature. And that'll just take some adjustments. So once we get this all built, we can try it out. I'll let it run for a little while. But the idea is to cool off this room because it's 55 degrees right now. And that's because as Jerry breathes, the carbon dioxide gets pumped out and the electrolyzer is putting out 70-degree air because that's what it does with, with when it makes oxygen. So I want to get this room to be pretty cool so that when he's in spaceflight, it will be heating up slowly, but it won't heat up to the point where he's really uncomfortable. It's not a super big deal because the toasty surroundings debuff just decreases his stamina, so he slows him down. Well, he's not going anywhere in here. But it's one of those things that I want to figure out how to do. And it is what makes this game fun. So that is what we're going to do. While we're waiting for that to build, I'm also going to run a power line up to there. I decided I am just going to do it across there because I like having it there, but I'm going to do it on this side so I can reach. And then we'll come down under the gantry and connect that way. I hope that I'll be able to reach that without putting in another gantry. I'm not going to be able to. Let's just do a second one a while. I'll do it here. Here. And then we're going to need power for that, which means I have to come up like this. All these little things to figure out to be able to make everything work. Yeah, because they won't be able to reach that power wire unless they have a gantry to go out on, to stand on, and that's fine. I'll just leave this one with the extra gantries, and then if I ever need a rocket that I'm going to be doing maintenance on, I'll bring it into this bay. So this down here is working now, so let's check this out. This sensor... the issue is... Let's say that it's below, just so we can prime fluid going through here. I think that this is going to just be something we have to switch manually as we go. But we should see fluid coming out of there in just a moment. Hopefully. Oh, we didn't finish that last thing, so it has nowhere for it to flow to. Let's go back out. It is bypassing this like I wanted. When it can't flow this way, it is going the way I want, so that's a good sign. And in here... I'm going to let them get this all finished up and rebuild this, and then I'm going to let it run for a while and just kind of tweak it to see if we can get the results we want, and then I'll come back. Okay, I got this working the way I want it to. So the coolant comes down here and it bypasses this because the sensor is telling it not to go around, and then it goes out. So I ran it for a little while, and inside the rocket is now much more chilly. I changed the piping around so it did a lot more radiant pipes. That way it could cool it down as quickly as possible. The issue I'm thinking of is that there's no way that this is going to trip on automatically when the rocket comes back. But what I was thinking is I could just come in here, set this to 15. Since it's lower than the 20, I'll change it back to 20. That will go through. And if we look at the interior, that really cold coolant will be coming through. It'll pick up some temperature. And if that temperature makes it go above the mark, which it did, then when it comes back out, it will trigger it to send out more coolant. And it will keep doing that until it gets coolant coming out that is colder than the 20-degree mark. So this is going through, it's picking up some more heat, and it's getting back up to the 20-degree mark. And so then when we come back out, now it'll start the loop. And this will keep going until the coolant cools down to 20 degrees, which means the internal temperature of the rocket is about 20 degrees. So it'll just be like a manual start whenever the rocket comes back, but I'm okay with that. That's not a big issue. But so now I can keep the rocket nice and cold while it's sitting here on the launch pad. I could even cool it down cooler than this. And then that way when Jerry gets in to fly it, it won't be super hot. It will heat up as he's gone, and then we'll just cool it back down. And it's actually kind of nice that it's a manual thing, because it's not going to need to be cooled down every time we run the rocket. It's just when it gets to the point where I'm starting to get the issues from it, then I will do something about it. So I think we got up here and we found what we wanted up here. I think we're going to send him up to this spot. So let's go out here. We'll set it to crew. And then I just want to double check to make sure I put everything back in place. So we do have our barracks, we have our mess hall, we have our washroom, and all we need is Jerry, and then we'll be ready to go. It does take him a while to get up here. I guess we could sweep out this stuff, but there's water and debris from when I did it, but we'll do that the next time since we already crewed up the rocket. So let's go to Jerry, unequip his suit. So now we're ready for another takeoff. I have to close the gantry. Okay. Everything's clear. Warning is just because there's unreachable modules. That's because the gantry is closed, so it's not available. Let's send this off. Find out which wires I didn't set to steel this time. Okay, everything's working well now. And it's nice we don't have to worry about closing the bunkers. These will do it when they need to. We're going to let Jerry go and explore another section of the map for us. And then we will work on our base some more. But for now, I have gone beyond my time. Took a little longer to get that rocket the way I wanted it to. So we're going to call this an end to the episode today. And in the next one, what we're going to work on, we're going to let Jerry keep doing his exploration. And I'm going to move all of this filtration system over here. I may do that off camera because it's going to be a lot of tedious placing of pipes. And what we're going to do is close off this base and make it so that it's sealed so that we can have our oxygen management in here a little better. And we'll pump out the hot oxygen that's in here and let the cold oxygen flow in, get the base nice and done. We will also put in a few extra rooms here for like the recreation. And I want to build a room where we're going to be putting our monument for the final achievement of the playthrough. Well, one of the final achievements of the playthrough. So that is the next priority that we're going to have. And then after we explore and unlock all the planetoids, I'm going to do some work on getting the stuff we need for supercoolant from space. We're going to get to the Gassy Moo planet to get a tamed Gassy Moo. And we're going to get somebody landed and set up living on every one of the colonies. Maybe not living there permanently because some of them are pretty terrible. But we're going to get somebody over there doing their thing so that we can get somebody landed on all of them. So that will be all the achievements we have left to do, except a few of the DLCs. And like I said, those might be something where I do in a bonus episode after the series is over, because I'll have to play and just let things go for a long time to get the 10 million mind and things like that. So we'll just keep plugging away at it. I'm thinking a couple more episodes will probably be done on this map, and then we can start discussing what we're going to do next. I have some ideas. It's definitely going to be some more Oxygen Not Included. I'm excited to play some of the newer stuff once we get this finished. So I hope you enjoyed watching it, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.